Having returned and read some of his writings as an adult, what do you notice as an adult reader of this writer of a different generation?
Mm-hmm. Well, I had an experience of coming to more of an assessment of my father's work when I was younger. In college, right after college, I had notions myself of being a writer. I was very interested in contemporary literature and so forth. And I wanted at that time to try to finally penetrate, get a glimpse behind the fortress wall of my father's writing and what that was all about. Because again, the large body of it was always unavailable to me. So I did. Try to do that. And, I found that a lot of his work seemed somewhat sentimental to me, not as modern as some of the writers I was reading in English at that time, contemporary writers. And yet I discovered at the same time how much I admired it in other ways for its rich storytelling qualities, its sense of place, the characters who honestly sometimes seemed a little formulaic. Quite often in the stories, the Jews were the righteous ones, the Gentiles, the more conniving or corrupted characters. So there was something a little black and white, or even simplistic about the work, it seemed to me. And yet now when I step back from, a greater perspective, and I look at the body of my father's work, I realize, what an extraordinary accomplishment it was for this man, with very little education, very humble origins, to live through the world turbulence that he had been through, and yet to find a way and make a life as a writer who wrote, maybe a dozen books, 4 or 5 stage plays, reams of children's literature and journalism. So I'm very, very proud of his legacy, of who he was during his lifetime and what he's left behind. I regret terribly that I didn't have a greater opportunity to have a relationship with him as an adult. I was in my early 20s when he died, and I think our relationship would have gotten more rich as the years went by. So that's obviously not something you can correct, but that's a continuing source of sadness for me that we didn't have more time.